was so thankful when you let me in. Oh, girl, I was hungry, starving, my stomach had been. You gave me some food, Lord, from the sweet, sweet corn. And girl, it did dig so good, I just could not stop. I asked for much, oh, I just want it now. Oh, darling, keep looking, peeping, until I see stop. I asked for too much, oh, girl, I just want it now. Oh, darling, keep looking, peeping, looking, until I see stop. It was you I saw at the Reagan scrape. You was looking sweeter, girl, than the food I ate. We started to dance, Lord, put on a show. But when the clock hit 12, you had to go. I am the much, oh, I just want enough, Lord. Oh, darling, keep Reagan scraping until I say stop. Oh, I asked for too much, sweet girl, I just want enough. Oh, darling, keep Reagan scrape and Reagan until I say stop. We talk on the phone long after dark. I told you I hold your hand, take a walk in the park. I never get fresh with you, never do you wrong. Oh, girl, I won't be with you my whole life long. I answer for much, oh, I just want it now, Lord. Oh, darling, keep moaning, groaning until I say stop. Oh, I answer for too much, sweet girl, I just want it now. Oh, darling, keep moaning, groaning until I say stop.
This is 99.5 Global FM, your number one source for R&B in the Bahamas. Yeah.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, one and all, and welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and it's a pleasure to be in your company today, especially since today is Friday, TGIF. Friday means that the weekend is upon us, and I just enjoy my weekends. It's a time to replenish. For those of you who are into worship, it's a time to get your worship on, and rejuvenate and prepare to take on another week. So TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Not only though because of the fact that you get to relax on the weekend. But around these parts, TGIF, because you get to be my co-host. And I get to hear from you about what you want to talk about, and we can together discuss the week that was and direct, um, where we want the show to go today. So a huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in, who are going to make this TGIF show part of your afternoon routine. The telephone numbers to call in case you want to, chime in. 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages if you haven't already done so. Right now, at the outset, like and share the show. Let everybody know we're on the air. We're also coming to you live on YouTube. And you can catch us on Cable Bahamas Channel 974. You can also tune in by way of radio, 99.5 FM on the dial here in New Providence. And we also have, I understand, a growing and large audience in Grand Bahama. Welcome to you all. And welcome to everybody who is listening from outside the country, especially because all of you could have been someplace else, but you have chosen to spend the afternoon with me, and I do appreciate that very, very, very much. And you can also download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. Before I go to the phone call, I want to extend condolences to the ZNS family and the family of the late Natalie Martinborough, who passed away today. It was I think today or yesterday, I'm not sure. But I just received word today that Natalie has passed away. As a former colleague, I'd like to extend my condolences to her immediate family and to her extended ZNS family. Natalie was a broadcast journalist based in our northern, based in the northern service, working out of Grand Bahama. And Natalie was with the corporation for many, 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 many years. And my heart goes out to her family and the entire ZNS family, because Natalie was a long-standing part, integral part of the ZNS family. And I was shocked the day I didn't know that she was ill. And I was shocked the day to learn that she had passed away. So my deepest sympathy to all who knew about her. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
God bless you. Good afternoon on this wonderful rainy Friday, Michelle.
Hi, JT. How are you?
Why, bless you. Thank God for this wonderful rain. I'm calling for two reasons today. The first one has to do with belief and fact. Particularly last week, but over the past few months, persons would call into your show and they would express their personal belief regarding God, in that they don't believe that God exists. And that's their right. But you know what is so interesting about facts, Michelle? Facts does not rely on one's belief or opinion in order for it to be what it is.
Right.
In other words, God exists whether any of us believes that he does or not. And any human being believing or not believing that God doesn't exist does not cancel out the fact that he does exist. And the mere fact that you and I exist as human beings is evident of the fact that the true and living Almighty one and only all-knowing, only wise God does exist, because none of us would be alive on this planet if it wasn't for the existence of the true and living God. That is not a matter of JT's opinion. That's not a matter of JT's belief. That's a matter of fact. It's not a fact because I believe it, but I believe it because it is a fact. It is a reality. I just wanted to put that out there, Michelle. Okay? One's belief does not make a fact, because a fact exists whether one believes it or not. My second reason, I should say, for calling today, Michelle, is when are we Bahamians going to grasp the fact that the location on this planet of the Bahamas is not in the Caribbean, but in the Atlantic? Every now and then I hear politicians say that the Bahamas is in the Caribbean, or I see articles in the newspaper that refer to the Bahamas being in the Caribbean. Yes, we are part of the CARICOM Community of Nations, which is a political association between countries, but the fact that we are a part of CARICOM does not put the Bahamas geographically in the Caribbean.
Right.
Cuba is the northernmost top of the Caribbean basin. Any countries south of Cuba, including Cuba and those south of Cuba, are in the Caribbean. And I came across a video on YouTube in the past few weeks that I was pleased that the American producer, when he was doing a video documentary on the Bahamas, correctly stated what I'm just saying to you, that the Bahamas is indeed in the Atlantic.
Right.
And my point is, Michelle, why is it that we are trying so crazily to put the Bahamas to redefine the Bahamas as a Caribbean nation when we're not? I mean, you want to say something?
I mean, to answer that, I suppose it's for the same reason that our leaders decided it was important for us to be a part of the Caribbean community, so that we could be aligned with a grouping. Because in this world that we live in today, you know, standing alone would be very, very lonely and dangerous. So, and the same reasons why I believe we aligned ourselves with CARICOM, even though we are not physically in the Caribbean. I suppose, you know, they want to feel truly a part of that community. And so, and then for some people, it's just a lack of knowledge. They just don't know that.
And see, that's the point right there. The lack of knowledge part of it is what really concerns me. You know, because I didn't read the body of the article, but there's an article in the Guardian this week that says, "Let us make Nassau one of the best cities in the Caribbean." And that's not the exact quote, but that's as close as I can to remembering the exact title. But I mean, Caribbean city. The Bahamas, Nassau cannot be a Caribbean city by virtue of the fact that the Bahamas is not in the Caribbean. We could want to align ourselves with Mars in terms of political associations, but that don't mean that the Bahamas is located on Mars just because we align ourselves with Mars or Jupiter or the Moon.
Right.
And Michelle, I mean, notice I said earlier, facts do not rely on opinion in order for facts to be what they are. No matter how people try to dispel or eliminate or ignore the fact that the Bahamas is not a Caribbean nation, and I'm talking about many of us Bahamians, the Bahamas is not geographically in the Caribbean.
Right.
We are in the Atlantic. And when I was going in primary school, Michelle, I don't remember ever being taught the geography of the Bahamas in respect to where the Bahamas is located. I remember being told some of the islands of the Bahamas, not even all of them, but I can't remember ever. I had to learn that as an adult growing up, and I just find it so sad and so bothersome. This is one of my pet peeves. Sorry for that. It irks me always when I hear other Bahamians say the Bahamas is the Caribbean nation. I just wanted to get that one off my chest today because it really bothers me because it's so incorrect. It's not even funny.
All
You know what I mean?
right.
Take it
Mm-hmm.
down. Bye.
All right. Thank you for calling. Okay, so the telephone numbers to call once again are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. To JT's point about the difference between fact and truth, I totally agree that people act like because they have a particular opinion on something, they're supposed to change the reality of what that something is. Um, and that is not necessarily the case. That's just your opinion on that particular thing. Now, some may argue that, well, in the same way he could say that uh, God exists, that's his opinion. I could say that God doesn't exist, that's my opinion. Well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody. But there's a thing called a universal truth, which JT is right, doesn't rely on our opinion for it to be true. I often use as an example gravity. I could decide that gravity is nothing more than the fantasy of some scientist, and I don't believe in gravity. Somebody next to me could say, boy, gravity is real, whether you see it or not, gravity is real. Well, it's my right to not believe that person and say, I don't believe in gravity. But if I go to the water tower and I climb up to the top and I jump over, whether I believe in gravity or not, gravity gonna kick in. And I will suffer the consequences of not believing in gravity just because I couldn't see it or feel it. So my opinion didn't change that universal truth that gravity exists. My opinion was just my opinion, which I have a right to. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GBS.
Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm.
Hi.
How you doing, ma'am?
Excellent. How are you today?
Wonderful, wonderful. Ms. Malcolm, I grade the government for their 2 years. I give them a B plus. For 2 years, they have was some little steps, but at least they make the steps, and all was not what we wanted to be, but at least he takes some challenge and he do some things, the prime minister. And I believe next year, God's willing, it will be a challenge that they have to now move from the little steps and move some big steps now, because that's going into the 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to do some big things next year. I graded Miss Colby, Minister Colby. I give her a B plus. They're saying that when the taxi them, they can fire, move her. We want the prime minister to move her, and this and that and next. Now they singing another tune. They get their money. The jitney drivers gonna get their own. And I see she going down to BEC when they were threatened to say, well, the strike. She have going down there and turning that rate around. And now Mr. Kyle is singing another tune now. So, you know, and she did some things for housing, and stuff like that. And I know she got a challenge to turn BC around. It's not going to be easy. But 2 years, she have done some good work. And her work is going to be proven to see next year or whatever it's going to be, that she just got to go and, you know, go forward. Now, I believe the government now, they tackling this light. That's number one. That's the number one elephant. If they could tackle this light and get this down, I know you're not going to please everybody because some people still going to make noise. But if they could do it, Malcolm, that would be, they would be on the right road. If they could tackle the food, they cannot sit down and worry and say, oh, food high, oh, the food. No, they have to find a way how to bring the food down for the Bahamian people. They have to find a way what to do to get this food. So they get a big elephant in the front of them with their food. Because Mr. Man, who own all those food stores, can't tell you, they going up. So the government got to find a way how to tell the people them, either bring you food from duty free, from away, or I don't know what they're going to do. They got to come up with a good plan this year coming up. And my last point is social service. Mr. Bishcom, he have a task on his hand. I don't know how they can fix it, how they can do it, but they get a task. So I see Miss Bartlett there. You know, all of them together. They got to come together and try to fix this social service man. When Miss Melanie Griffin was there, look at what she have done. She introduced the card. That was such a good thing. Now they have to come up with something. They have to come up with something to stop letting these 70 and 80-year-old people go to social service 6:30 in the morning for the full food slip and stuff like that. They got to come up with a program how they are going to do it. You see? And he have ZNS. I ain't see no changes for ZNS right up and now. And I know, Mr. Watson ain't telling me nothing, but I know, I don't believe he's happy there.
Well, ZNS, before you go any further, they just had a function last evening where they just had a function last evening at the Margaritaville where they unveiled their rebranding exercise and relaunching exercise, where they talked about these 18 new programs, I think it is, coming on stream. And so they just had an event last night to talk about their new direction.
Yeah, yeah, but I will, you know, I know you might not want to go back up there, but I'd like to see you go back up there because you have the knowledge, and you know you could be some great stuff, a very access there. I'd like to see you go there to maybe do a talk show, take down Miller's slot where he used to be. You know, because you're very good.
Now you realize that you're talking on somebody else's radio station, right?
Huh?
You realize that you're making these comments on somebody else's radio station, right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't think that the person who owned the radio station I on would not appreciate you doing that? Seriously?
Well, okay. I would draw that back then if that's. But
I mean, just come on, man.
Yeah. I understand that. I shouldn't say it like that. But anyway, Miss Malcolm, I say it again, you're doing a very good job, even with part you is now. And I believe inside the future, things going to be looking bright for you, okay?
All right. Thanks so much for calling.
Okay.
Alrighty. Let's see. We have a couple of comments. Oh, before I do, a lot of people. Somebody had called a couple of days ago, wanting to talk about rating the Davis administration's performance over the last 2 years, and I didn't allow that person to do so at that time because we were talking about something else. And I said to that person that Friday is the time to call in if you wanted to rate this administration's performance thus far. So, in case you live under a rock, on the 16th of September, it marked 2 years since the Davis administration, or the Davis-led administration, took power of the governing of the Bahamas. And the PLP held an anniversary celebratory service. I think it was at Mount Tabor uh, this past Sunday, at which the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, addressed the audience. So since that last caller brought up this whole question of performance, well, actually, we have the call on the line. So before I go to that clip, let's go to the caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm good. Okay. Yeah. I should have called after you brought up this rating and grades and anniversary and all of that. No, all I want is for us to strive and to do well and to progress as a country and as to all of us, I guess, no matter who party or whatever you support.
Right.
My vision, what I really want to see, besides, I'm with education, but the hospital, I heard the minister mention, touch on that this week. So they'll get into it. They named the location as out for Paul, that area for the new hospital.
Okay.
Did you hear anything about that?
I did not. That's not to say that that's not what they said, but I may have missed that.
You like to get you get your facts, but he said they'll come, to us with more information.
Right.
But I hold on, Michelle. I hope we get that together. We need that, and to continue to deal with what we have now in our medical health system, because we need to really upgrade these things. But I'm happy that they had that the Prime Minister did a reset, and because I think some of these ministers a lot of times they pile on these posts, these different portfolios to them. One minister has like 2 and 3 ministries. They're responsible for these areas, and I'm happy that they moved that energy and BPL away from Ministry of Works. So, so they can really, really focus on that and dealing with the potholes and the other, infrastructural issues that we have in this country. So I don't think that would be as much of a strain on Works as it was prior. And we've heard too much on this immigration. I guess we'll have more thoughts on that as when they go back to the housing. Because that's end up going quiet, the immigration situation.
Yeah, I came across a report as I was preparing for today where the press tried to ask the Prime Minister a question about that, and he was quickly whisked away and didn't get to respond to that question.
That's still lingering out there, and it still has to be addressed. Not because you close you close it off a minute. That doesn't mean we're not be forgotten.
Right.
The second thing is I saw where the Minister of Education spoke on the concern that first the teachers have in relation to parents dropping their children off so early in the mornings at these schools.
Yeah.
And the security, and I don't blame the security. They should, I mean, they're there to secure the premises and whatever around them, but something needs to be done. I don't know, but they should have a PDA meeting, Zoom and all of that, and they work together and try to do what they have to do in reference to those children, because there are children being left off in these schools unattended. She said that it's not really, in essence, their responsibility, and there's only so much that they can do with manpower and with resources and whatever. But something has to give with that, because we don't need any of our children to be at risk or in harm's way in relation to that. And in the same token, a lot of parents, they have to work, and you can't go on these people's jobs late, or you understand, you can't go late or with any excuses. I mean, it's an excellent reason with your child, but something has to do. I don't know if it's a carpool, work it out with some family member or something. They need to come together to come up with solutions. You can't just leave it on that as that. Well, there's so much we can do or whatever. The PTA, they have to get together and work on that, because we don't want to hear you or the news reports come on. We all upset and agitated because a child was victimized because they went to, because they were dropped off at school. And I'm going to end with the relaunch at ZNS.
Okay.
I am hoping. I saw a lot of familiar faces, a lot of some new faces there. The team, I miss them well. I miss them well. But we want we want results, because that's our ZNS. We want results, and we want a good effort to be put into that, because because it's a huge responsibility getting out that information. And condolences too to Mrs. Martin Barnbar. When I watched the news, like in the Northern Service, she's a familiar face and her voice. I can hear her voice now. So condolences to her family and the corporation. And that I say, have a safe weekend, Michelle, and continue to do well.
Thank you. Same to you. I had started to pull the clip with regard to the minister talking about the fact that parents are dropping their kids off as early as 5 in the morning, but I didn't follow through with it. I thought there were some other things that were more pressing. I get it that people have to be at work at a certain time, but in this day and age, boy, you looking for problems. Dropping your child off to school at 5 o'clock in the morning unattended. That is a recipe for disaster. So I'm not going to sit here and say I have the answers to that challenge, but it can't be a good thing to be dropping your child unattended at 5 o'clock in the morning anywhere. That's a recipe for disaster. And it's just a matter of time, I would say, unfortunately, before something untoward. I mean, you're setting yourself up for a problem when you do that. What is the solution to that? I don't know, because apparently this is not a new problem. Apparently they've been grappling with this for a while. I'm not going to sit here and say that I have the answers to the problem, but I would try to find another way to deal with it as opposed to dropping my child off anywhere unattended at 5 o'clock in the morning, if I value the life and well-being of my child. So hopefully, now that the minister is speaking about it, they're going to find some kind of solutions. And I believe that you're right, Carla, that it should be some parental involvement in there as well. to find an alternative, a solution to this challenge. I don't know. I don't know what that would be. Maybe dropping them to a particular holding place where there is supervision, and then busing them from that place to the schools at the appropriate time. Perhaps something like that would work. I don't know, but I just don't think it's very wise in this day and age to be dropping your child anywhere at 5 o'clock in the morning unattended, unsupervised. That is not a good idea. That being said, it's time for us to take a break. So let's take this break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to continue with our open line TGIF show on this beautiful overcast, rainy Friday afternoon. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Less is love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin, mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm Michelle Malcolm in your company, and I want to say a huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in on this TGIF open line show. The numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271. That's area code 242-801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages, also on our YouTube channels. And speaking of channels, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. You can also download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and tune in that way. Or you can tune in by way of radio, which is the traditional means. 99.5 on your dial here in New Providence. And a huge welcome to all of you in Grand Bahama, throughout the family of islands, and anywhere from around the world. I saw somebody put on Facebook earlier that they were sorry they missed yesterday's show. Well, if you on Facebook or YouTube, you don't have to be sorry. You just got to go back and watch the whole thing. That is the beauty of us streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. If you miss the show, you can always go back later on and watch it there. Or if you download the app, then you'll have access to past shows there as well. So if you miss the show, if you can't be there live, no problem. Go watch it later on. We still appreciate you tuning in so you don't miss out on the information. Okay? So if you missed the show yesterday live, please go back, watch it on Facebook, watch it on YouTube, or download the app and check us out there. And that way, you won't have missed anything. Okay, so somebody mentioned, a couple of callers were creating the Progressive Liberal Party in the Davis administration, let me put it that way, for their first 2 years in office. So here are some highlights. Here's a report on their recent celebratory church service in recognition of their second anniversary.
The Progressive Liberal Party celebrating 2 years in office with a church service held at the Mount Tabor Church Sunday morning. Prime Minister Philip Davis, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, cabinet ministers, parliamentarians, and PLP stalwart councillors and supporters gathered to celebrate the second anniversary of the Davis-Cooper administration's victory at the polls since the September 16th, 2021 general election. The Prime Minister, while bringing brief remarks during the special church service Sunday morning, reflected on the wins his administration has achieved since taking office.
The desire to see progress on these national issues and challenges is what inspired me to enter politics in the first place, and it continues to motivate me to this day. 2 years ago, when the PLP came into office, we said that we were not here to maintain the status quo. We're here to lay the foundation for big changes as we take steps toward a fairer and more prosperous society for all Bahamians. There were those who, gripped by fear, warned, for example, that opening the economy would worsen the pandemic. There were those who were afraid that increasing the minimum wage would slow down employment. Even experts were afraid, predicting that the tourism industry would take years to recover. Some even predicted that the cruise industry would never recover. But look at God.
And with 3 years left before government calls the next general election, the Prime Minister spoke with hope and anticipation for the road ahead.
We want to see more income equality, peaceful communities, food security, improved public health care, and more opportunities for Bahamians to own homes and successful businesses. The economy is booming. We are thriving. And it is now up to us to use this opportunity to build a better tomorrow for all Bahamians. We are a people of faith. We are not ruled by fear. And as Bishop Ellis often says, there's no such thing as a faithless believer. Where there are challenges, our faith allows us to see opportunities. We now have the opportunity to build on the progress we have made to drive real change throughout our nation. It's what our nation needs, and it's what our people deserve. As we look forward to year 3 and beyond, let's remember to give thanks for the many blessings and mercies that have allowed us to come thus far. And may God continue to bless us all, and may continue to bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
All right, so I don't know if that clip satisfies some folks who are in the chat on Facebook, who I see an argument going on between C. Allen and some COI supporters. Y'all could fight that out right in the chat. I haven't engaged you y'all. But I see where somebody in the chat said something about this government only thing, all about talk and no action. Here's my thing. As he would have just said in that clip, the Prime Minister is absolutely right. There are still challenges existing, and we all know what they are. So we're not going to pretend that everything is perfect and hanky-dory and we live in utopia and all is well. No, we got some major challenges in this country without a doubt, as to just about every country around the world. But to make a blanket statement that this administration is all talk and no action, I believe that that is not a fair assessment, because we are quick to point out when they do not live up to standards, and that's our right to do so. We are taxpayers. We have a right to speak up when we don't think that they're meeting the mark. But with the same amount of vigor that we speak out when we feel they are failing, we should give credit to where credit is due. I think it is grossly unfair, and I'm not here to sing for no supper or nothing like that. I'm just speaking my mind, as you all know I tend to do. I think it is grossly unfair to make a blanket statement that there's been no action, because there have been some strides that have been made since this Davis administration took over. And to make a blanket statement to say nothing has happened is not true or fair. Now, do we have challenges? Absolutely. Do they need to step up their game even more to try to address these challenges, particularly as they relate to the downtrodden in this country? Without a doubt. But to say that nothing has been done in these first 2 years is being disingenuous. And I know everybody has a right to their, to which party you support. But you can't let your party colors blind you to truth. See, this is a problem that I have with all of these political parties and their supporters. It's like what JD was talking about earlier, the difference between fact and your feelings. I just have a problem with that. If you're going to point out their faults, which is absolutely all right, that's fine. But don't ignore what is being done and say, oh, nothing is being done. That's being disingenuous. It truly is. The same vigor and energy in which you put to criticize when they are falling down on the job, you should also give credit where credit is due. Whether you agree with their philosophy or not, whether you support their party or not, should not make a difference, because truth is truth. At least it's supposed to be. Okay. Case in point. Even the opposition singled out a handful of the ministers now serving in the Davis administration as to them doing a good job. The opposition now. One of the people who was serving in the Davis cabinet that they singled out was one Pia Global. While Pia was a junior minister of government, or a state minister, we saw industrial agreements being signed left, right, and center that had been lingering for years. And I don't know why these things couldn't have been signed off on before. I don't know what kind of negotiating skills all of a sudden appeared, but under her tenure as a state minister, you can't deny that we saw many, many industrial agreements being signed that had been lingering for years. That's the simple truth. I believe her performance was such that the prime minister decided to elevate her to become a substantive minister of government. And I think one of the reasons why he made that decision is because she was doing a doggone good job. So whether you support the PLP or not, doesn't change the fact that the woman has been performing in office. You always get so caught up in these colors. And I don't believe in making blanket statements that have no bearing in truth just because you support a particular party and don't want to give any credit to anything to the party in office because that's not your party. That's not fair. That's not fair. So I believe in calling a spade a spade. And as you all know, I am not afraid to speak up when I see something going wrong in the PLP. And I am not afraid to speak up under what I believe is wrong under the FNM. But you got to give credit where credit is due. You can't, on the one hand, point out the wrongs or point out the shortcomings, but refuse to acknowledge when they are getting something right. That's not being balanced. So my encouragement to all of you out there is stop allowing these politicians or these political parties to cause you to be blinded to the degree where you can't see truth for what it is. It's all about what my party says and what our philosophy is, and I ignoring everything else. That's dangerous. That's very, very dangerous. Okay, so Pia was just recently in the news saying that, talking about the unemployment figures in the country. Now, we all know what was taking place in the country prior to the Progressive Local Party coming in. And, you know, we all know why we had a global pandemic, which significantly decimated the world economy. I believe personally that some poor decisions were made, not just here in the Bahamas, but around the world as it relates to that, but that's a whole other show. But we know that unemployment was rampant in this country. Well, Minister Rohr, Global Rohr, was just in the news revealing that right now the country is seeing the lowest unemployment figures in 15 years. Here now is more on that.
Official statistics indicate that the unemployment rate is at a 15-year low and is expected to continue on a downward trajectory as we experience sustained economic growth. The Department of Labor will continue to work with programs such as our National Training Agency that facilitates a workforce readiness program. We always say that jobs are available, but we have to ensure that our citizens are appropriately prepared to engage the jobs. So it's important that we not only have soft skills training or specific trainings based on the employment opportunities that are available, but ensuring that we capture as many citizens as we can through our National Training Agency Workforce Readiness Program. We'll also be rolling out, and it has to go to Parliament in the first instance, an apprenticeship program that will also capture persons across the length and breadth, especially our young people, the country, in preparation for the workforce.
Okay, so I see a couple of you commenting. Lloyd says the PLP government gets no credit from me. Well, you know, it is what it is. Some of you all, you know, I realize that y'all just don't listen. Y'all just so caught up in your politics that you just, it goes in one end and comes out the next. So I ain't taking it on. I'm not taking it on. I just finished saying, you could support your party, ain't nothing wrong with that. But to say nothing good come out here, okay, you're being disingenuous. You're being disingenuous. So Richard Russell says, yes, it's true what you say. The cost of living has gone through the roof under the PLP and FNM. Yeah, but some people only could see, oh, the PLP this, oh, the FNM that. Come on, man. Give credit where credit is due. You know, some of y'all just can't be balanced because you're so blinded by your party and your politics. You can't be balanced. It's a very dangerous place to be. You know? Then you can't see nothing good at all when it's staring you right in the face. Okay. Let's look at why those unemployment figures are the lowest they've been in 15 years. We've seen quite a number of job openings. And the latest to come on stream is the news that broke this past week that the British Colonial Hotel is going to be reopening very soon. That is very, very good news. They are looking to fill 300 jobs. And I do believe that there is a job fair happening this weekend. On Saturday, I believe they're looking for line staff. They'll be interviewing for line staff positions. And then on Sunday, I believe, they will be interviewing for managerial positions. And this is not the only property that we've seen holding these job fairs and getting really good results as a result. So if you are a person who's looking for a job, because a lot of people ain't looking. Some people ain't looking. A lot of people want a job, but they don't want to work. In other words, they want the paycheck, but they don't want to work. Some people just ain't looking. But for those of you who are looking for work, we're seeing more and more where these different entities are holding these job fairs and people are being hired. So I pulled this clip about this particular event coming up this weekend where they're looking to fill 300 positions for a newly renovated British Colonial Hotel.
It's been nearly 2 years since the British Colonial Hotel closed its doors in February 2022 to undergo renovations. But today, hotel executives reveal that the historic hotel is expected to make its return to downtown Nassau in just a matter of weeks.
This is a whole new re-envisioning of the British Colonial Hotel. Our corporate parent has put in over $100 million into this project to not just paint the project, but to do a complete renovation. So I think people of Nassau are going to be surprised when this opens up.
Executives are further asserting that the hotel is expected to be back and better.
It's just not a quick fix-up of this hotel. This time it's a complete renovation. Brand new lobby, 5 new restaurants in the hotel, brand new meeting space, and completely renovated guest rooms and hallways. So basically it's going to be a new package. On the front of the hotel you'll see a new porte cochere.
Every single room, the air conditioning has been replaced. Mechanicals have been repaired or replaced. They've done all new wiring, things that most ownership groups wouldn't necessarily do.
Now, ahead of the reopening, a 2-day job fair is going to be held on September 26th and September 27th, and Labor Minister Pierre Glover-Roll says officials are looking to put Bahamians first for the job.
The job fair will be held at the Andre Rogers Baseball Stadium between the hours of 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. The hotel is seeking personnel in the areas of hotel management, supervisory roles, line staff, front and back of house hotel operations, and many others related to the tourism and hospitality departments. The Public Employment Services Unit of the Department of Labor is here to assist you, whether that is in preparation of your resume, and even if it includes finding something appropriate to wear at the interview. We have 3 locations, which includes Carmichael Road, Robinson Road, and Rosetta Street.
For those who may be interested, here's what you need to know.
The 26th will be for all line employee positions and the 27th for all supervisory and above.
Now, the hotel's reopening comes as the country continues to experience what government says are record-breaking tourism arrival numbers.
We're seeing record air and sea arrivals, fully booked hotels, record profits, and healthy government revenues. This year, we're expected to see well over 8 million arrivals within a single calendar year, thanks to the economy-boosting policies of our Davis administration and the many Bahamians working within our resorts, attractions, airports, tour companies, and other tourism-related enterprises.
Maybe I got the dates wrong. Don't go there this weekend looking for no job fair. So apparently the dates are actually the 26th and the 27th of this month is when they're going to be interviewing for all of these positions. People need hope. And I do believe that we need to get to the point where we are spending an equal amount of time empowering Bahamians to become owners of the economy, not just persons with jobs. But that being said, I'm happy to hear that there are these jobs that are becoming available to those who may not have the capacity for ownership and really just want to work to support their families. And my hope is that those of you out there who are looking for work will prepare yourself to be employable. Because that's another problem that we have in this country where people just aren't employable. But for those of you who paid attention in school and are employable and are looking for work, there are many opportunities out there that are presenting themselves. This job fair is not the first one I've seen. So go, make sure you're dressed appropriately, and find yourself some work because there is work there to be found. Okay? We're going to take another break. Let's see, I have one comment I'm going to put up. Because, like I say, these people fighting on Facebook back and forth between them and Seattle about COI and who say what when. I ain't getting into all of that. But Dwayne says, I applauded Minister Pierre Glover-Roll and Minister Glenn Martin on giving wonderful accounts of their stewardship and initiatives. It would be outstanding if the remaining ministers would follow these ladies' example of accountability. All right, let's take this break. When we come back, we're going to continue looking at the week that was, or whatever else you guys want to talk about, because this is TGIF. Open Line Friday, where you get to be the co-host. But you know, we got to pay some bills. So we'll be back after these words from our sponsors. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting sugar-free berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this TGIF open line show. The numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 242-801-0271, 242-801-0271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. If you haven't already done so, please like and share the show. Let everybody know that GPS is on the air. Also streaming live on YouTube and on Cable Bahamas channel 974. You can go ahead and download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And always it's radio. So if you are in the vicinity where you can pick up a signal, whether it's here in New Providence or Grand Bahama or throughout the family of islands, please welcome to you all, and welcome to all of you tuned in from outside the country I do appreciate each and every one of you for being here and being a part of the GPS family. All right, so every Friday, for those of you who are new, we have what we call an open line show where we allow you to call in and and uh, and sound off. Give us your opinion on something that you see happening here in the Bahamas that may concern you, or if it's not a news item from the week past, then something in general that you want to talk about. This is your opportunity to sound off because Monday through Thursday we have themed shows. So on Monday we've got the Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson who comes in to teach us more about the Constitution, and then we deal with a specific topic on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we do health and wellness, and then we deal with another specific topic on Thursday, and then Friday is your opportunity to sound off. So let's make it count. I want to hear from you guys as to what you want to get off of your chest. And we will talk about it within reason. Again, I'm not going to allow anybody to come on this show and make any kind of libelous statements because you could hide behind a Facebook profile or not say your name, but we have to be responsible to make sure that this radio station and I am not brought before the courts for libel or so we have to be responsible, in other words, with what we say and do here on the show. But that within reason. Anything you guys want to talk about, that is what we're here to do. Okay, so while I'm waiting for you to call in or message us, because like I say, I am not getting caught up in this argument that's going on Facebook now between C.L. and Johnson and members of COI. Y'all could fight that out. I ain't getting involved in that. I ain't getting involved down in that. So I can leave y'all to that. One other story that made the news this week that I thought was interesting was there's some people who are up in arms over the announcement that the members of the LGBTQIA plus community in the Bahamas are getting ready to celebrate a week of activities as a part of their Pride Week. And some members of the church are taking issue with this. So here now is more on that row that's going on between the church and the LGBTQIA plus community.
Members of the LGBTQ+ community are expected to have their 4th annual Pride Bahamas Week in October to have celebrations and discussions about LGBTQ inclusion in country. This coming months after members of that community observed Pride Month this past June. But tonight, a local pastor says this is where she draws the line.
It is still dealing with gay pride, something that the Bahamas do not stand for. We don't stand for it. And for having a series of events, back in the day, we never allowed this kind of foolishness or foolery to happen in the Bahamas.
Now, while local activist and the events coordinator Alexis DeMarco asserted that this is not a march, there's an event on the calendar that Pastor Carol Colby is expressing serious concern about.
One of the things it said, let us get soaking wet. Right? Do you know what kind of demonic activity is happening when let us get soaking wet? That means 2 men and 2 big husky men is going to come together and get soaking wet. No, Alexis, we don't agree with that.
Bishop Simeon Hall is also questioning the need to have events promoting discussions about LGBTQ+ related matters.
Who cares? Who cares? Why should I have to know that? Why is that public information?
Activists have accused the church of attacking the group while claiming that the church is hampering their fight for inclusion and respect. But Colby contends that the church will not be silenced.
We are attacking a demonic agenda that doesn't come from God. In the beginning was man. In the beginning was woman. In the beginning was God. It strictly declares in Genesis, in the beginning God walked with Adam and Eve. And never said Adam and Steve. So we are only backing up what we believe. Right? You cannot have, and then the thing about it is you're being bold and you're presumptuous in what you're doing. When it comes like that, then the church has to make a stand against this kind of activity.
According to Bishop Hall, here's where the issue lies.
Why do people have to advertise what their sexual preference is? Why? Who wants to know that? We don't have no heterosexual groups marching around and say, hey, we like it this way. When the person is going to brag and advertise that I want to marry another man, that causes a problem.
But the bishop says the church is partially responsible for the disconnect that continues to exist between the church and the LGBTQ community.
Some of it is out of our own immature way to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation with anybody, with any who is different from us. But you see, my key is to see the person first as a human being. I think that's Jesus' imitation, in imitation of Christ. He saw everybody as a human being first.
So is there hope that the church and the community could ever get to a resolve on this issue?
Not at all, because both parties hold on tenaciously to a principle. The principle being what God's words say, and the other principle, this how I feel.
Now, for the record, that reporter did indicate that they did reach out to the local representative of the LGBTQ plus community, Alexis DeMarco, but they were unable to reach her in time for comment for that particular report. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Ms. Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
I hope you're doing well.
God is good.
I'd like to comment on this last thing that was on. I didn't have that on my mind, but I'll just simply make a simple statement. God made them male and female. They eventually became man and woman. That's biblically sound. What I wanted to ask you is, I've heard a lot about these agreements that have been signed. I hear people touting about how many labor agreements were signed. My question is, are these labor agreements constitutionally sound? That is my question. Because if they're not constitutionally sound, see, people will sit still unless you write anything on it.
Now, are you talking about international agreements, or are you talking about agreements that are signed between
labor
unions?
Yes,
okay.
Unions. Because I noticed a particular union, the BPL union, noticed the remarks of the president, how he was speaking about the management team of BPL. The remarks are totally different today. You have another personality comes in, dress up in some clothes, put on a hard hat, put on some shoes, walk among the workers, and all of a sudden there's this abrupt change. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
Well, I mean, Professor, everybody has a right to change their mind, especially if...
But Ms. Malcolm, I'm not even getting into that. Person changing their mind, that's one thing. But remember now, these things affect persons who are working, not just a particular personality, or a small group of individuals. Because
let me ask you this: if there's open dialogue, let's say, and I'm just speculating now, because I have not been privy to sit in any of those meetings, so I can't say what is what.
You know why? But I don't know what was being said publicly by him.
Right. But my point is this. If he was saying that they were ready to take a strike vote because they weren't being heard, and then somebody of authority comes and sits in the seat and hears you, then don't you have a right to change your mind to say, well, okay, we won't strike at this time because at least now we're being heard and something. I don't understand why that's a problem.
I'm not questioning whether the person has a right to change their mind or not.
Right.
What I am questioning is, are these agreements constitutionally sound? That's my question.
Okay.
That's a totally different kettle of fish altogether. See, when I look at the Constitution says no man, woman, or child shall ever have their labor exploited.
Okay.
That was more than 50 years ago, Ms. Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
We still have labor problems today, as I speak to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
You had a former Minister of Labor dealing with these things. So what do we have now? Just because a particular personality comes and dresses up, says a few things, or indicate they're going to do something, all of a sudden, bang, things have suddenly changed. Ms. Malcolm, you should know better than that.
Well, let me put it this way, Professor. When I used to be in management at ZNS, one of the responsibilities I had was to sit on the negotiation team with the union. By the time I left ZNS, I left there as assistant general manager. You know, when I was line staff, I had a particular view, and I marched many a day with the union. When I became a manager and I became privy to more information, I had to take a different position. And so that is where the art of negotiation comes in. And there were many times we sat around that table and we still couldn't come to an agreement. But there were times when we did come to an agreement on issues that may have been thorny. And it was because we sat down and we talked it out and we worked it out so that everybody was happy at the end of the day. So I'm coming from that perspective that it is possible for me to have a position today, but after I sit down and I have dialogue and I work things out and I flesh things out, then I can have a different perspective tomorrow.
Okay, let me ask you this.
That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you this question then. Do you know of any radical change that has occurred in the management of BPL? Or do they have the same personalities with the same mentality that the union man was talking about up to the point in time when there was a shift in the ministerial position for BPL?
Mm-hmm.
Because the minister is not a part of management, is that right?
No.
Okay.
But I would say this. But I would say this, Professor, and I understand exactly where you're going with this. The same people there, but now the same people who were there have somebody else to answer to. And maybe
they don't have anybody else to answer to. It's the same administration.
Same administration.
The same government. The same administration. What has changed, Ms. Malcolm?
Well, you know, it may have been a situation where the person who was responsible sitting in that seat just was not equipped to do the work to get the job done. And now that there's somebody else there, listen, I'm just speaking hypothetically now.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But we only can go by what has been put out in the media.
Right.
I'm not saying anything against any one particular personality or group of individuals.
Right.
I'm simply saying I'm amazed at this sudden shift in the presidency of the union in relation to what he was saying prior to that. Like everything has just broken down with the management of BPL. Now all of a sudden, you see this perhaps 100% turn around in the attitude of this particular individual.
Right. So are you suggesting that
I'm not saying...
Are you suggesting that that person is that turnaround is politically motivated, or you just speaking in general?
I wouldn't want to put it like that because see, I want to go by what they're putting out in the media,
Right.
what they're saying to the public. And my question is, where is the protection for the workers? Because in the Constitution it tells me no man, woman, or child shall ever have their labor exploited.
Right.
When you listen to him prior to this particular personality coming in, obviously there must have been some serious exploitation. It can't mean that one day, like yesterday, everything was so awful, then tomorrow morning, because somebody else comes in and put on a hat and some clothes and walk around with a waker's eye, there's this sudden shift, Miss Malcolm.
Well,
that
one of the
is
things
what I'm concerned about, and that's why I asked the question: are these agreements constitutionally sound? Now, I'm not saying you may be able to answer it, but I think these are the things what the workers need to understand for their interest to be protected, because the Constitution also says no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone.
Right.
That's what the Constitution says. So I'm saying that are these two different principles lined in the Constitution are lining up with what they have signed on to? Because we have labor problems in this country. And I can say from 50 years experience, we still have these very same problems. In fact, you had the two heads that had been O.B. Ferguson and Bernard, I forgot his last name, who was head of BPC's union. He said that the relations of labor is rolled back. We have lost. So what you do sometimes, Malcolm, you get such contradictory statements by labor leaders and also management personnel,
right,
as to where the real situation stands. Now, we only can go by what they put out there in the media. We're not trying to lie on them or say anything that's not true. But I'm just amazed at the abrupt change of behavior by the president of the union. That's what I'm talking about. And whether this is the way things ought to be, or I would give the particular personality who just came in, let us see what you can do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Without having to come to any abrupt conclusion, because yesterday it was bad, awful, terrible. We're going to strike. We're going to do something. Then the next morning, all of a sudden, boom, it's out the window.
Well, he claims he claims that decision was made after consultation with the new minister. So obviously, some promises must have been made that satisfied him to give them a little bit more time. Now, that being said, Professor, this is what one of the things I want to say. Union leaders are elected. And a part of their responsibility is to represent the welfare of their members, to fight for the welfare of their members.
I've been hearing that for more than half a century.
Now, some union leaders are better than others. Some union leaders are more effective than others. I am convinced. Let me just finish. I am convinced that some union leaders, I ain't calling no name and I ain't taking no blame, but I'm convinced that some union leaders are politically motivated, that they only could make noise when the party they don't support is sitting in the seat. I do believe it is up to the members of these unions to call their leaders into account and demand more of their leaders because they are elected to that position. And if these workers feel that their rights are being trampled upon, that these leaders aren't really representing them to the best of their ability, then they know what they need to do. Get some new leaders. Somebody brought up the other day, and I absolutely agree with them. And they were talking about how in the Bahamas, all these years, these unions have been collecting dues from their members, and but yet at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, these people find themselves on long lines trying to get vouchers for $50 or whatever just to find something to eat. So what happened to all of that dues they was collecting over all those years? If you look at unions, for instance, in the United States, there are some unions in the United States that are so effective that if for any reason there's any kind of long-term strike or whatever, their membership don't have to worry about how they can keep roof over their head, how they can feed their families, because those unions take care of those members.
Fair enough.
Until the negotiations are complete.
Okay.
So I believe, and I hear what you're saying, I believe that union members need to demand more of their organizations and leaders in this country.
Yes, ma'am.
That's my
I
personal
agree
opinion.
with that statement that you just made. Union leaders ought to demand more. But the question is, do they understand their role as members, one, and the role of the personalities who they elected for the position? Because I was listening to a particular team that wants to be head of the BPSU, the Bahamas Public Services Union.
Right.
And I heard attacks being made on the two former presidents who were running the union.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear much about what this particular new group, who's never been in the union, as leaders running the union, what they intend to do for the union. But they made a lot of attacks against the two personalities who were sitting, one sitting now and one who wants to get back there again.
Right.
The Bahamas Public Services Union. My concern is that we hear these things, Ms. Malcolm. I've heard those things about the welfare of the people. I hear it in some political personalities. And that's why I go back to the Constitution. Are those things that they're saying constitutionally sound? Now, this is the weakness we have with our members. This is the weakness we have with the average Bahamian worker.
Mm-hmm.
He or she doesn't know.
Okay.
I'm not blaming them for not knowing, There are some contributing factors that have caused this nonsense to permeate for so long. But that does not mean you stay down, even when you're getting information that can help you to improve your condition. But some are so attached to particular personalities, because I heard personalities being stressed in their comments rather than principles and character.
Right.
And while I'm not going to say anything for or against the particular personalities, I sometimes ask myself, what is more important? Because I keep hearing about the so-called welfare of the workers. I've heard that for more than half a century. What has happened to those workers over the last 50 years? Have you seen any significant improvement in the conditions of workers in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? When you look back, and the Constitution said more than 50 years ago, no man, woman, or child shall ever be a slave or bondsman to anyone. No man, woman, or child shall ever have their labor exploited. You see what I'm saying, Ms. Malcolm?
I do.
Yeah. So I'm just putting it out there for the Bahamian people to think about that very seriously. See, I always stay constitutionally sound, because you ain't talk no crap in my ears. Because I'm going to ask you, these things you are signing or have signed, are they constitutionally sound? Because if you just write crap on pieces of paper, nonsense and foolishness, that means nothing to anybody. The workers are going to be used again. And we have a track record of what has happened to workers in this country from July the 10th, 1973, right up to now.
Mm-hmm.
And the question has been asked, what is the state of the workers? This is September 22nd. This is my dad's birthday today.
Okay.
Yeah, this is on now. My own was on the 18th. But I'm just simply saying, what is the state of workers, BPL workers and other workers in this country, as far as what the Constitution of your country says they ought to be? That is my question. Thank you very much, Mr. Malcolm, for your time.
Thank you for calling, Professor. You know, to Professor's point, I find it amazing considering how the cost of living is going up, and yet there was all this debate over the raising of the minimum wage in this country, which within itself is like, wow, you all expect people to be able to survive off of that in this day and age? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about this rising cost of living in this country and how difficult people are finding it to keep up. You know, talking about the condition of workers, the very little money people are still being made unpaid, even with an increase in the minimum wage. And yet the cost of living continues to go sky high. And wages ain't keeping up. So how do people survive? Let's talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's US addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings. All with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
All right. We are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company on this TGIF Open Line show. And if you would like to get in on the conversation, the telephone numbers to call 3260271. 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 8010271. 8010271. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show on Facebook, where we are streaming live to the Michelle Malcolm Global and Global 99.5 FM pages, also streaming live on YouTube and on Cable Bahamas Channel 974. And you can also download our app to your smart device, Global 99.5 FM. Check us out there and tune in by way of radio. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, Michelle, how you doing? Sharon Johnson.
Hey, you taking a break from the railway?
Yeah. I will talk sense for a moment.
I engaged in you all in that back and forth.
I don't even want to mention they exist. Please, let's talk with this issue. Hold on. I want to talk about one. The one thing that Professor said concerning, these jobs and unions. The Bahamas is in a precarious situation economically. Whether they say or not, the data does not lie. Mm-hmm. But one of the things we have been promised for decades is the ownership of the economy. Mm-hmm. And we're not hearing conversations in regards to that, in spite of us having the technological ability now to give behemoths access to it. Mm-hmm. Just use an example, the various unions, the two unions, don't use two unions, Professor referred to, the hotel union. They should be arguing right now for access to capitalization as the new economic model for tourism comes about, for behemoths to own hotels and bed and breakfasts and boutique hotels and such, because even those workers would belong to their union, and those owners would be behemoth focused, and the profits that they would have every single year. Remember, these hotels have to increase their profit margin, but the behemoth would be, a typical behemoth would consider $1 million a year after paying good salaries, a good year for 4 units, 5 units. Mm-hmm. So if we move to ownership of their economy, we could grow more. These unions have hundreds of millions of dollars supposed to be in their coffers. But what is even greater than that is their ability to leverage those as collateralized capital to put into the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Then when you start talking about the government, about what Ms. Pia Glover-Roll did, she did an excellent job of painting the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. The surveys and the numbers have said that the Bahamas government, when run properly using technology, only needs 7,500 people to run it. Here it is, you hear about people who have been temporary workers, casual workers, and all these other individuals. About 40,000 of them that work for government, for P&P, and all these other different definitions we use, government or government agencies. When technology moves them, the problem is that these people are unable to embrace the new 21st century global environment for economic development of the country. Other than that, you would have people in the civil service fighting to get out. I mean, how many people in the civil service would stay in the civil services if they could own 2 bed and breakfasts that generates $500,000 a year, or even $250,000 a year, or even $100,000 a year? They would not sit in the civil service for $20,000 and $30,000 waiting for raise and pension. And so we have to begin to ask our leadership to have conversation on this promise that was made 50 years ago that we have economic independence as well as political independence. And it doesn't take 50 years to transfer to economic independence when you have 100% control of the laws, the policy, the legislation, the policies, procedures, processes, whatever, to take us there. So either they have been deliberately denying us this opportunity, or they just do not know how. And so if they do not know how, then we have to actually begin to look to people who can do more than just put things on a piece of paper. We have to be able to have open debates throughout the year. Do not wait for election year, because we can demand what is it you intend to do and test them on their ability to actually present executable plans and strategies for their visions. And so look at the government service. When we had the COVID, the IMF and other people says when the people did not go to work, or governments working supposedly from home, where most of them couldn't because we did not have the technology. Don't mind them sitting working from home. They can never show me where 10,000, 20,000 Bahamians could work from home from the government. It doesn't exist. That means they were at least home. But it says that government efficiency went up during COVID. I mean, that, you know what that means? Because the person answering the phone didn't have to hand the phone to another person who handed it to another person who had another person before you get it to the person you call for. It means that they didn't have to hand papers across multiple things. And so, in fact, it has been proposed, listen to this very carefully, a lot of people don't understand this. It was proposed that we do reduce the civil services to the 7,500 because they would operate with such efficiency, we could pay the other 30,000 people to stay at home, okay, until they retire, because efficiency will go up. So we'd say we'll stop hiring except an absolute need, and then everybody who works for government, it's actually cheaper to pay them to stay at home so we can have the efficiency needed to actually pay them and productivity. That has been proposed. It was in the newspapers. And so the question we have to begin to ask is, what is it we've been expecting? We've put the bar so low for our leadership that they could literally step over it. So I think sometimes we put the bar so low that we may have to dig under it. Okay? And so I think if we elevate the conversation to a debate of ideas rather than personalities, then we could actually see those that possess ideas who will come into the battlefield, because you can't bring a non-idea into a debate of ideas. And so we have all these political leadership. You know, the PLP could make their argument. They will be the weakest there is, because their argument would have to hold more water because they actually have to veer the steering wheel right now. Then we have the FNM, the Coalition of Independence, the Bahamas Constitution Party, and the DNA. Maybe Brownville is coming back to revive it. So we have these individuals, and then you have people like me who are advocates and activists for the better of the Bahamian people. And because I hold no grudge except to choose the best, I say the lesser of all evils for the next election based on what the collection of what people will do. But I'm saying to you, let's have something to vote for rather than voting against. And that could build the new Bahamas. So we don't have to wait for election status now. If you are a leader, or if you support a particular leader, tell your leadership to enter into the marina and demolish those in the other leaders who don't. Challenge them face to face. If you have a pissing fight between the two of you on opinions, it'll go on for the next 3 years. But if you come out right now, deposit your ideas, and simply say, this is the way we could go right now. Here's it, test it, see whatever, and the people will join you in demanding that the government do to us right now. And I understand this. The same thing I said about the sovereign wealth fund. We need not wait until 2026. All we have to do is if all of us right now demand in the proper context that a sovereign wealth be established, and 20 or 21 constituencies get together of 100, 200 people and demand the seeing of their MPs, we can have the sovereign wealth fund within 3 to 6 months.
Let me ask you something before you go. Let's go back to the question about the processes as it relates to the workforce, labor, etc. Why do you think? You said it's either because they don't know how, or it's deliberate that we have not advanced to.
I believe they don't know how. Because if it's deliberate, boy, we have some action to take. I really believe that the 5-year celebrities don't know how. However, I do believe that the people that make sure we only get 5-year celebrities know why. Okay? So they make sure that we only get to choose the lesser of two evils in their support, in their media focus, and everything else. So you remember, it isn't the coach that owns the coach or the players that determine the game. In reality, it's the owners that you don't get to see in the booth, in those black booths up there. See, so what we have to understand is that these 5-year celebrities, they could barely take care of themselves in or out of parliament beyond what we claim they take for themselves. So the question then becomes is, then who is controlling the $16 billion economy? It's definitely not the 5-year celebrities. We always say, oligarchs or this other people. So if it's the oligarchs, then why are you just don't have the so-called players do what you expect of them? And that's what I'm saying to you. Forget throwing rocks at the bar and call it PLP, F&M, and Coalition and all these other things. Why don't we go and take hostage of 21 MPs and have them do what needs done in Parliament? Then you will get to see who they represent. Because when they go to
Let me ask you this. What you're suggesting is that our parliamentarians, for the most part, I'm not saying everybody, but for the most part, the people that we elect, who you call the 5-year celebrities, don't know how to fix this problem. And so in essence, they are, for want of a better word, puppets to those who are controlling the economy. That's what you said.
They are tools in the chess box we call PLP and F&M. And so what I'm simply saying is that, but we are the key that opens whatever toolbox they intend to use. They call us the voters. See, the problem is people believe that, and Sydney and Dr. Professor can tell you this, we never give up power. If we gave up power, they wouldn't come back to us in 5 years. We give them authority to act on our past. The problem is we give them unfettered authority because we have the power to take them back. It doesn't come back to us in 5 years. We always possess it. But we don't have leadership that actually wants you to use the power, because once you become aware of it, you won't give it back. So what they say is, follow me and I'll do it for you when you could do it for yourself. See, that's what leadership is about. Leadership is about empowering people to do for themselves rather than you doing for them. And the ideas, and we are in the 21st century, is available right now for us to do what is necessary. Why aren't we talking about digitization? Why aren't the 3 political parties, if you want to use them as an example, say the PLP, F&M coalition, talking about digitization of the economy, digitalization of the economy, tokenization, and digital transformation? No, you hear them say, and when I get there, I'm going to give you things. I'm going to build you a house. You know, they don't build no house for you. What they do is they build you a low-cost house with deficiencies and then give you a 30-year mortgage for it. That's not giving you a house. And so, and they use these things, and we will do this, and we will do whatever, but nobody ever say to them how. And when people like me ask them how, oh, shut up, you belong to that other party. And you go, but what other party are you talking about? Long as see, what happens is that's the gang mentality. Don't listen to him because he belongs to the other guy. See, like you say, shoot the messenger before you comprehend the message. And that is the culture that we have indoctrinated into our people, where we actually argue for what continues because you don't belong to our gang. You don't belong to our tribe. And Dr. Sidney Walter McCarthy Thompson is doing the right thing when he's teaching the Constitution. And I wish people would not look for confirmation bias in his teaching, but rather understand the full picture. They're looking to see where he says something that proves what I believe is right, as opposed to understanding the full document and understand that no power lies in governance except that relies in the party, in the people. Okay? And then I guarantee you, until Bahamians wake to this reality, they will continuously get what they've been getting. And you know what that's called? Doing the same thing over and over. Not from political party. I'm talking about the ineptitude, inability, and capability of sending leadership to parliament. You are insane. And the rest of the world is growing and developing. And there's an expression that says, when you're not preparing, somebody else is. And when they meet you, they will beat you. And that is the problem we have. You know, and so, and I tell people all the time, not only am I an advocate for my people, but I'm also an advocate for my family. Because in my household, it goes in the order of God, family, country, and then everything else. Let me repeat that. God, family, country, and then everything else. And if you don't understand that hierarchy in my belief system, then you have a problem. Thank you so much.
Oh boy, thank you so much for calling in, C. Allen Johnson. Wow. There's some things that C. Allen has said that I absolutely agree with. I believe that we have, yet again, some of us would prefer to go down the road of blind support of our particular celebrities than seeking truth and truly examining what we as a collective need to advance this nation. And one thing I, would like to say, in my opinion, is that whether you say it's the puppet master or the puppets that are being pulled by the string, they know that Bahamian people only into that. They know that. So in my opinion, it is very deliberate, because they know all you got to do is throw a good party or make a promise here and there that sound good enough, and you don't have to go beyond that. Elections in this country are all about who throwing the best party. On these election podiums, they don't discuss issues for the most part. They talk about, this one, they won't come back, and you can't let them back in the house because they don't keep the whole cookie jar. And yeah. Very few, if any, get up on those podiums and discuss real issues and real solutions to those issues. Why? Because they know Bahamian people ain't into that. And in many ways, we are responsible for the treatment we get in this regard. I was talking about this on the show the other day. We enabling this. We playing this back and forth game in which we get played. So, my personal opinion, we all got to take responsibility for where we are. Stop throwing rock at other people when you are participating in this game of madness. We'll take a quick break and then we come back. We'll wrap it up. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
$99.5.
That's our show for today. Time is gone. I am Michelle Malcolm. Thank you to all of you who tuned in. All of you who listened by way of radio, or the few of you who called. Listen, I appreciate each and every one of you. But it's the weekend, so I encourage you to find a place of worship. So get your worship on. Just stay safe. Let's love on one another. Put down the guns. And let's act like civilized people that we know how to be, if we just decide to be it. Until next week, God willing, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, everybody.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinion